Good morning and welcome to First Friday Lunch. It is 11:30 Central Standard Time, and we normally do this live on the first Friday of the month at 11:30 Central Standard Time. So good evening, good afternoon if you are somewhere else in the world other than the middle of the United States. So as I said, it is First Friday Lunch. I actually thought I was going to end up recording this because my sister's coming in. She was supposed to come in today, but she's going to be coming in tomorrow. So we're going to spend the weekend together. We're going to go to the Barbie movie. It's very exciting. But what I wanted to talk to you about today was a day in my life. I am an ENFP, or what is sometimes called, I think I've taken a number of other ones. I haven't taken the strengths test, and I think I'm going to, because I'm actually looking at attending the conference that's in Minneapolis because it's so close and seems rather reasonable. So I might go to that, and I might end up doing the strengths test, but I haven't done that yet. But I am an ENFP, and then I took another test, and I'm a blue, if that means anything to you guys. And then another test that I took I was a C. But basically, as a C, you like there was A, B, C, D, and I fell into the C category. And one of the things that C's like are routine. So I thought I would talk a little bit about my routine for writing. And this will be the routine I have normally. I have a different routine in the summertime, but I start off in the morning. I do a couple of things. I wake up, make my bed. That's sort of a thing, but and has become more recent of a thing. I never used to make my bed, and then I started making it. I was like one of those people that made it right before I went to bed. Don't ask me. My husband was like, "What do you do, Tina? What are you doing? That nobody makes their bed before they go to bed." I was like, "Well, I just need the sheets all a certain way and stuff." So I was one of those people that made it before I went to sleep, and now I've started making it in the morning. And I do feel kind of like, okay, that's done. And I can kind of look over the room and see if everything's like okay or whatever. So that's sort of one of the things I've been doing. But on the subject of routine, for my normal writing routine, the very first thing I'll do is I will do what are called morning pages. And this is something that is in The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And I find that even if I don't do them right away in the morning, I try and do them before I start my writing day. So if my writing day starts, like let's say I do a bunch of, I'll do like some light cleaning, like I'll throw in a load of laundry and I'll do some dishes, but after I've had breakfast and stuff, and now I'm going to start my writing day, the very first thing I do is morning pages. And if you don't know what morning pages are, it's fairly similar to journaling, but I have found I can't write creatively until I get junk out of my head. So that's mostly what morning pages are for me, is getting junk out of my head. It'll be things like, we're at the airport and we have this many loads to do, and I'm hoping I can get this book done. And oh, I don't know, this publisher rejected me. So now what am I going to do with this story? And so it ends up being a lot of that. So I put a lot of my worries. I put a lot of, I have to go to the grocery store, stuff like that ends up going in these, but it's basically the junk, the noise, if you will, and get that cleared. So that's the very first thing I do. And then the next thing I will do is I will maybe play a couple games on a tablet from Luminosity, and I only play the free games, but I'll play a couple games on that. Then once I'm done with that, then what I'll do is I may do a puzzle if I still feel like I gotta kind of clear my brain. I might do a Sudoku puzzle. And then the very last thing I start doing is I set into my 25 minutes of business, which I will go ahead and check my email and basically clear the inbox. And if I don't do it in 25 minutes, I stop, kind of take a break, get a cup of coffee, do those things, and then I start my creative writing. The problem is I've had so many projects, things that I've been doing some formatting for other people. I've been doing other things that I've kind of let that consume the next part of writing for me. And I'm thinking of switching it up to where maybe I'll do those, I'll always do the morning, but I'm wondering if I should do that creative writing like right away and then do business. And I'm thinking about switching it up. I haven't decided fully if that's what I want to do or not. In the summer months, that routine is pretty much the same, except that I don't really do any creative writing. I will read out at the airport because I write on a computer, and the timing is so fast that unless I'm doing the writing within the blocks of when my husband's gone, which is somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour, unless I do like writing sprints, it just doesn't work out that well. And I'm usually outside and I don't want my computer to overheat and, those sorts of things. So, but yeah, I haven't been getting as much writing done lately. Once a week, I'm on what we call I call it a creative commute, but with a Catherine Noon. We do like from 6 to 7 every Monday. We'll go ahead and do like writing sprints, and also not doing any writing in them. I end up doing stuff like going through my mail because I haven't done that yet today, or I go through and work on things that I've been working on for other people. And I need to get back to focusing on the writing, because that's what writing and or writing related businesses. I'm trying to think of that. Her first name is Kate. But she was on Six Figure Authors, and she was talking about how when she goes to work, she either does stuff that like she'll go ahead and format one of her own books or get that set up or do a sale or something like that. But it's something that drives people to her story. She's either writing or she's driving people to purchase a story. And so that's sort of like one of the things that I'm working on right now is I have sent Alchemists of Archangel off to the formatter, Scott. He is wonderful. And he's also doing the cover wrap for me. And I want to get that book done in mid-August so that I have it available for signings in the fall. And I'm starting to think I really do need to focus on stuff like that. I've written some short stories for some anthologies and stuff, and I just don't know. If I'm going to do it for the next two stories, the next two groups that I have that are doing anthologies. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure that the one group will do one because it just might not happen. I'm not sure, or it's going to be very late in the season or whatever. So I think I just need to really focus on my own writing. So, but yeah, usually what I'll do is on a perfect day, I will go ahead and I will write in Pomodoro sprints. Sometimes I will join people doing write-ins like the Dawdling Writer, the Heart Breathings group. I will join both of them and write with them when they're doing writing sprints. And I have found that ends up working pretty well. Like I will go ahead and do the writing sprints, and then while they're talking or whatever, if they're on a break, I'll maybe do business stuff. There just are more that happen in the evening, which is the time I want to spend with my husband versus writing. So sometimes I'll write in the evening, but yeah, I really want to get back to writing more. So I've had a lot of time consumed with meetings and other writing related things, but not writing. So it's frustrating when you're not getting words out onto the page and stuff like that. So I'd love to hear below in the comments section if you guys have routines or if you just kind of wing it. When it comes to my actual like writing part of it, like I'm what you would call a plantser maybe, or a plotzer. I'm not sure which way we said, because I kind of pants, but I do like to work with a rough outline. And that gives me like the 12 key scenes of a romance. And so I like to do that and have that outline so I kind of have a path ahead. I may not have it filled out because it'll say things like heroine has a talk with her best friend, and that might be all it says, but I'll leave that in there so that I kind of know, oh, okay, I need to have that scene. So, and it keeps me kind of in order. Sometimes I think some of them in short story writing, I usually will take a bunch of those out. I don't use the 12 key scenes. I'll kind of look through and say, do I really need that here? Probably not. So I will wrap things up a little bit quicker. So, but yes, I'm hoping to have Alchemists of Archangel out on, I'm hoping mid-August. So I'll get it sent off. I have a couple things I wanted to look at before I finalize the proof that the formatter sent me and get that off into the world, because I'd like to have it available for ValleyCon, which I'm going to. And I have been doing a number of book signings this summer with the Morehead Friends writing group. And that's been really nice and I've been seeing sales. Ironically, I see more sales doing hand sales than I do in any of the ebooks. Now, I am with a publisher for my ebooks, but I control the print part myself. So they handle all the distribution. And so then I get a cut of the cut that they get from like Amazon or Kobo or Barnes and Noble or iBooks or whatever. They get a percentage. Basically they get half of it or whatever the net is that they get from Amazon, and then I get half of that. So sometimes that ends up being like 10 cents or whatever. So I will say this: if you guys are interested in reading my books, I'll put a link to my website below. But if you're interested in reading some of my books and you don't want to buy them, go to Hoopla, because I do get paid every time somebody rents it out from their library on Hoopla. And then you're not really out anything. You're just using a library service. If you are in Fargo-Moorhead, my book, The Pilot and the Pinup, used to be there, but I think it went up for resale. I don't think it got checked out enough. But the Courtesan of Constantinople is there. And actually a couple of other libraries carry the digital one, but I'm not really sure. So go ahead and check and see if I'm on your library service. And if your library has Hoopla, go ahead and use that, and you can read one of my books that way. So it's a good way to read and support an author without, having to buy the book necessarily, if that's something that you want to just try it out, or if you're short for cash or whatever. So the other thing that I'll be doing is I'll be putting out the short story that I wrote for Seasons in the Dark with the Bizman anthology. I will probably put that out around October as its own short story for like 99 cents on every place except pretty much Amazon, so that people can purchase that, because I can't see, it's so short, I just can't see making people pay more than 99 cents for it. So, and Amazon really cuts stuff in half. I think Snow by Any Other Name is on Amazon, and that's 99 cents, but I don't know that it's like not Kindle Unlimited or whatever. I might just do that with the next one. I might just make it a Kindle Unlimited story so people could read it. That might be interested, because I don't really see a lot of sales through Barnes and Noble and stuff. So I would have to check that out. But maybe as a Kindle Unlimited, it would get page reads. That's an interesting experiment. Oh no, I can't because it's already available in other formats. That's why I can't do that. So anyway, so those are some things that I'm kind of working on. That's kind of my routine. I just need to get back to routine. So like I said, I would love to hear if some of you guys out there have routines that you use for writing, or if you just kind of write when the muse strikes you. Because I guess I always treat mine like a business day. Like I always started off, this is my office, like right behind me or whatever. I just got all these books up, which I'm loving, because these were at my mother's house. And I was like, oh, it's a complete set. And I have a red bed. Sometimes you guys can see it when I'm the other way. There's like a bed that my husband painted red for me because it's metal. And so I was like, oh, that'll go really nice in my room. And they're called like the Harvard Classics. And I think she maybe got them at like a thrift store or something. But I was going through all these and I'm missing a volume. I thought it was like, oh, it's a complete set, so I'll go ahead and I'll have it. And I'm missing a volume, which is I'm like, oh. But anyway, they look nice. I was like, these look nice. So I went ahead and had put those up this summer, which was like a big accomplishment for me. And this is also serves as a guest room. So my sister will actually be in this room for the weekend or a couple days before we head out to the lakes. I'll maybe take some pictures and post them on Instagram of some stuff that we do. But yeah, so this is normally my office in September, which I am so looking forward to fall coming back, because I do find it much easier to fall into routine in the fall than it is to fall into routine in the summer months, because everything's so up in the air. You may be able to hear a fan in the background, and that's because it is hotter than bejesus here, and our air hasn't worked for a couple of years, our central air. So we've been escaping to our caravan out at the airport that has air conditioning, or we'll go to the lakes that has air conditioning, or for whatever reason, it's always like 10 degrees cooler when you're on the water. So we might do that. And My sister and I will be staying here for a couple nights anyway, and then we'll head out there like Monday, Tuesday. But I am so looking forward to fall, to cooler weather, to going back into retreat routine. I have a retreat at the end of September, which I'm looking forward to. And I think that's what we'll talk about in September. The topic for the next Friday lunch will probably be the retreats, conferences, stuff like that. Because I usually will talk about that because I have a couple right away, and maybe book signings, like things to do for book signings and stuff like that. So I'll maybe do it classroom style, back to school, back to routine. We'll talk about stuff like that. So next Friday lunch is actually September 1st at 11:30. So go ahead and pencil me in for lunch.